What's going on, y'all? Christopher Carousella here. I was tagged 15 questions for the GM. Chronic the Green Dragon. I was tagged too, son. Dude, how'd you get out your cage? Ask Kate. Can't keep Chronic in the corner, son. You been watching Dirty Dancing again? Yeah, that's my shit. Alright, dude. Get out of my way. I gotta do this video. Alright, I'm out. Chronic the Green Dragon, y'all. So, tag 15 questions for the GM. Let me get it knocked out quick. Try to at least. You guys know I might start rambling. What do you call player agency? Player agency is having the player's character's actions affect my world and their surroundings and all of it. It's great. I love it. I found that this draws players into the storyline the most is when they can add to it and they see that it's affecting their surroundings. What they don't like is consequences when they do dumb shit and there's consequences. Um, but they like I can't help it. Like if you do it, I'm gonna be on it. It's not the fact that it's me on it. It's the fact that it's my world that I'm trying to. It's a living, breathing, functioning society. If you go out here and you punch somebody in the head a bunch of times and you rob them and then you do this repeatedly, the people in your area are gonna be like, "We gotta stop. We gotta find out who's doing this. We need to stop it." And I try to make that roll over so the players they understand that there is consequences, real consequences. They don't like when they happen to them, but hey, shit happens. Don't do dumb shit. Player agency is awesome. What does railroad mean? I did the video on railroad, man. It's a wonderful tool. Don't use it in a. I mean, honestly, like I consider like pre-generated modules railroad. Like any, I mean, if you want to be on anything that a dungeon master adds to the storyline could be considered railroad. You railroaded me with rain. I didn't want it to rain. You railroaded me with this tavern. I wanted it to be a library. Um, if DM tells you that he doesn't railroad, he's lying. You're lying, dude. If you do it, we both know you are. It's impossible not to railroad. Now, railroading like traps and stuff, I'm all for it. But I'm also gonna help my players out to find a way out of this trap. I'm not just gonna railroad them with a death trap. If you do that, it's just fucked up. I mean, come on. But will I make it intense? And is there a possibility of death? Fuck yes, but I will help them out. Now, when they didn't catch the clues and they're dead, I will go back and I'll be like, hold on. Oh, this was a clue. And, oh, shit. Oh, this was a clue. Oh, you didn't pick up. I was trying. I repeated it. I tried to help you. You did. You're right. I killed myself. Um, Railroading like a story end that is not changeable. If you're gonna do that, then allow them side stories and then bring them back to the main story. Allow them to still commit to your story. Um, but if you're a storytelling DM, that's fine. Players are cool with it. I've played with storytelling DMs. It's no problem. But I'm still gonna do me. I still got my character that I want to do things with. Um, and I need those needs fulfilled. How does it feel like when I had a bad session? Try not to make it look like a bad session. Maybe I wasn't on my A game. It's a learning experience. I recently ran a Murder of Dragons, and the players rocked. You guys rocked. Um, but I fucked up. I didn't fuck up like the story or nothing. They had fun. They did so much cool shit. But there was so much other stuff that I could have added to the storyline, all the background stuff that it just would have been like, wow. I got carried away. I got carried in the moment. So I need to realize that it's okay to get caught up in the moment, but I need to slow down and remember the surroundings that I'm presenting to them and bring those to life also. That's advice for myself. Um, how do you handle bad players? Like for me to consider you a bad player, you gotta be like a shitty dude. I can put up with like asshole characters and all that. You know, you're playing an asshole character. When you walk away, I'm gonna have an NPC walk up to the group and be like, "Yo, why do you deal with that dude? He's a dickhead. Let's take him around the corner and beat the shit out of him." Then when you walk back to the group, boom, they done pass me a note. One of them punches you in the head, knocks you out, drags you into the corner, beats the crap out of your character. And then they're looking at you like, "Hey, you want to keep playing that?" But, like, to be a bad player, if I've considered you a bad player, I'm not putting up with that shit. You gotta go. You gotta go. But you gotta be, like, a bad person to be a bad player at my table, I think. Because even if your decisions don't function with the group, that's life. Role playing is about role playing and figure out ways to get around that. And then once you have that, it doesn't become a problem. Like, okay, well, we know he's gonna do this, but we can do this. So, but bad players, get the fuck out of my table. Sorry for cussing. We used to work in construction sites. How do you handle good players? I don't know. You like bring me apples and shit. I don't want an apple. Bring me Milky Way and I'll give you a high five. I like the Milky Ways too, son. Go back to Dirty Dancing. Alright, I'm out. Alright. So, yeah, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh my god, dude, you're awesome. Don't ever leave my table." That's weird. It's weird that I just did that and you're gonna see it. You're supposed to be a good player. You're supposed to come prepared. I'm not gonna reward you for doing something that you're supposed to do. I appreciate it, people. I appreciate it, guys. Don't get me wrong. I really, really do. But you're supposed to be a good player, because if you're not, then you're not going to be a player at my table. So I don't reward people for being good players. I'm appreciative of it. I reward them for doing cool shit in game with their characters, but I don't really think that's the question. I saw Robert Ogre's video and Chalice and Chains on what they did with good characters. I don't really remember at this moment though, because I would compare it. So I got to go back and watch them. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'll move on. How do I handle splitting a party? Since I'm the dungeon master of my world, it's never been a problem. Unless like they use a plot point to put themselves on the other side of the world, I'm not gonna put them on the other side of the world. They're gonna be like down the street. This recently happened in a one shot I was running a few weeks back. One player got split from the group. They were in a dungeon, and I kept them entertained, and they could hear the echoes. So they were like, "Oh, is that him?" And then they were, they had their own thing going. But I tried to make it so entertaining that this dude's entertained when this happened. Splitting the party usually happens when I spring traps on the players. And they aren't able to avoid them. But, like I said, I'm not going to split them and put them on, like, the elemental plane of water. So I don't have a problem with it. I try to keep them entertained and make what I'm doing so entertaining that it's entertaining the other group. That's my advice for it. What do I like more? Role playing, combat, traps. Yeah, this is the question that fucked me up. I don't understand why role playing is separated from the rest of them. It's a role playing game. You should be role playing all of these. I would add another category to it. I would add downtime, because I love downtime. I love when, as a DM, I encourage each individual player's character to commit to their own downtime activities that doesn't have anything to do with the group, or even if it does, it's a little side thing that they're doing on their own. I've had a person take over the clothing store and become she was pretty much the seamstress for the town. She fixed all the clothes and stuff, and she wanted to know how many yards of silk and cloth and all this is in there, and twines and needles she had, and she's writing it down because when she uses it, she scratches it off. Downtime activities, I love it, but I role play all of them. You should be role playing all. Role playing should not be separated from any of these. It should be the thing that strives to make these scenes more than what they are. Do you tinker with the rules set? Hell to the yeah. I've been DMing for like 7 years. I started like 3rd edition, 3.5. I don't really remember. Might have been 3.5. Huh. But anyway, so I didn't like it. Was too many fucking rules, man. I was like, oh, hell to the no. This is way. So I started breaking it down. 4th edition came out. Same thing. I'm going through it. I'm like, oh, man, I ran it for a while. I was like, holy shit. Breaking it down, adding it. So I ended up with this homebrewed system that I'm running for my players. And it was pretty much 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. So when they came out with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, I was like, oh, these sons of bitches just stole my system and printed it, and they're getting paid. So yes, I do tinker with the rule set. Though I don't do it as much now that 5th edition is pretty much, I like it. But I do change it, though it's usually to accommodate a player at this point. Not to just change the rules. It's to accommodate a player. Do I mind running an NPC with the group? No. Not at all. I've actually played a DMPC. I've DM'd for kids, 12, 13, 14-year-olds. And long-term camp. Yeah, that lasted actually about 2 years. And I played this DMPC for like 12 levels, I believe, and didn't have a single problem with it. But I was also DMing for kids. But I don't believe I would have had a problem with it as a DM, if it was adults, because I've done that also. I'll get into it later. But, yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. Now, I'm not going to be the spotlight hog. Or I'm not going to be the one, I'm not going to be talking to myself with dialogue, you know? If I do, it's going to be very, very brief. And I'm going to move on to somebody else because I'm not the one. And then they begin to learn not to look for him for help, but to look at each other because he's not really there for that. He can help, but it's limited to what he's able to do, you know? So I don't have a problem with it. Though, if I'm playing like an NPC, like a sellsword or something that the group's hired, they need to realize that he might not be like that valiant knight that they want at the moment. He might be drunk, running in the battle, and throw up in front of himself, and then step into it, slip and fall. And then the dragon takes his foot and pins him down. He breathes a steamy breath upon him, and you see the NPC's hair singe and cringe in his beard, and it's gone, eyebrowless. So yeah, they need to realize that. Will he be a tard every time? No, but he might be scared of the dark. I'm not going down there. No way in hell. You didn't say anything about the dark. So, but I don't mind. Campaigns versus one-shots. Campaigns, hands down. I'm going to do like a separate video on this question right here. So, look forward to that. But campaigns, I'm going to keep that brief. Campaigns, hands down, ain't no comparison to it. Move on. So, how much fantasy versus realism do I have in my game? Well, you would have to know the history of my world. When I first started creating my world was when I first started DMing, and I was into that high fantasy thing. Kind of Monty Cook aspects to it. And as I developed my flavor and my taste, and then the 5th edition came out, I picked it up. I'm like, all right, this is my edition. I'm going to use this. Because a lot of people online won't play a homebrewed system. If they're like, what edition of D&D is it? My homebrewed edition. No. They want to know, is it 2nd, 3rd, 4th? Because they're not playing it if it's 4th edition. They're not playing if it's 2nd edition base. Even if you did take all the power aspects out of 4th edition and just add certain cool aspects from it, they don't give a shit. They need to know what Wizards of the Coast edition is it. And so since I picked up this 5th edition, the first age of my world kind of died. The campaigns that I had been running in it, the long-term one had actually ended. So at that time, I continued the story on. The gods crushed the world. They were fearful of the magic users. They would become so powerful, and the magical capabilities of the world had become so powerful. They had delved into deep magic and unleashed it. Nature magic, wild magic. I'm sorry, and the guys were fearful of it, so they destroyed the first age. So the second age is brutally realistic, but it's still ruins from the first age lingering there, So they might find this ancient tower that once held a epic wizard, and they go in there and they find a spell book, but they can't read it because it's in the first age tongue, and so now they gotta go role play in downtime to figure out what the book says. But yeah, right now I'm for the realism. That's what I want, and I want that because I feel like players care about their characters more because they know that, like, yo, we could possibly die right now, and if they die, they're not gonna build another character and come back. It's their part of the story is over, and um people aren't used to that. I don't think. And the one shots don't, they're like, oh, my character's dead. Oh well, I'll play another game tomorrow night. Now I don't want my character to die. Like, no, if it happens, I'm sad and upset because I'm committing to this thing. So, realism. I like the realism. But it got a little rambling. My bad. Pre-mod versus homebrew. Homebrew that shit, son. Homebrew that shit, son. Homebrew that shit. Homebrew that shit, son. You heard Chronic the Dragon. Chronic the Green Dragon. Homebrew it. If you're running a pre-generated mod, that's a railroad. Have side story. I went into that. Change something. Bring it to life. Flesh out the town more. Put more stores available for them to go into. Side quests. Items found. Don't play the exact module that everybody else is playing. Don't do it. If I homebrew, if I do get a pre-generated module, I sometimes buy them from online Facebook group, and I will steal like a dungeon out of it. Like, oh, that's a cool dungeon. Yeah, I like that. Boom, that's my dungeon now. It's in my world. You can't do shit about it. It's mine. And what it does is saves me the time. I don't no longer. I don't know. I do not have to any longer draw out a dungeon. I have this dungeon, and I may even use the things in it. Now, will I use it? Oh, no, I don't want that. That isn't in my dungeon. That's 7 jars of honeysuckle salve. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I just made up, but you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, change it. I steal ideas all the time, but then I twist them, and I turn them, and I manipulate them into my own concoction, and then I present them to the table. Homebrew that shit, son. Homebrew that shit, son. You guys will be like that fucking dragon, man. Oh, favorite system, Dungeons and Dragons, hands down. I love Dungeons and Dragons, man. It's just what I've been playing, and I've played other systems. They're cool. I'm interested in learning or playing some other systems. I heard that Within a Ring of Fire is really like about the role playing immersion part, which any system can be about. I've heard people say that fourth edition is straight for miniatures and all that. Maybe it is, but that's how you as a dungeon master have allowed it to be presented at your table. You can encourage it to be more than that, as with any system you play. But I'm interested in a little bit of Within a Ring of Fire. Sorry, I got rambling. Lamentations of a Flame Princess. That looks cool. I think Ian put me on the group, or on his list or whatever. Maybe, hopefully. Numenera. I'm gonna try to hop in one of Lloyd's Numenera games. But as far as learning a new system to DM, nah. I'm gonna stick with 5th edition. Run it. It's got the variants that I already had in my world that weren't even variants. They were just rules that happened. So I'm with 5th edition. I'm cool for it. My favorite 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons is my favorite system. What method has gotten the best results? Adaptability. Being able to adapt to every player's needs or wants at that moment. Being willing to let go and let the players take the story in a direction that I never would have thought it taken. I'm starting an evil campaign, the darkness. You can't run from the darkness, son. It's there. The darkness is there, son. Even when you close your eyes. You can't escape it. The darkness. Evil campaign. And I added plot points to it. So I love when it allows them to take the story in a direction I never would have thought, and players also enjoy it. Don't be a dick. That should have been rule number one. You're the dungeon master. Remember that you're there to have fun. You are also there presenting a story to the table. So a story that involves them as being heroes. Remember that. Try to make them look like heroes. Yeah, you do have fun beating the crap out of them, but then remember that he has fun beating the crap out of you too. Make them look like heroes. One thing I try to remember, I don't know if it's gotten me the best results, but it's something that I hold on to, and like I love role playing, I love D&D, but I love the social interaction. For me, that's what it's about. It's about sitting down with this cool ass group of people and playing this game that I love. It's the social interaction of us. These dudes, he's cool. We hang out, or we talk online, or maybe we don't, but he's still cool. But then I get to see him become this character that nobody else usually gets to see him become, and it's this social interaction. It's this embracement as a group. It's this trust and not worrying about getting judged and all this other stuff. I don't know, I'm rambling. I like the social interaction also. I don't know if it gets me results, but I like it. What got me playing a DM? I've been playing for a while. My buddy's dad, him and his buddies used to play. They were in the Navy and they played on overseas or on the seas, and they came home, they kept playing. So me and my buddies, kids, were like, dude, we want to play that. That shit sounds. You guys are having fun. Let us play. So he made this. He didn't do it like he did for them. He rolled all the dice and we had character sheets. It didn't have any numbers or anything on it. We just had equipment and we drew like little figures, and they were fucked up looking, but we thought they looked cool. And we had like swords and our armor and some rope, and I run one shots with it like it now, and I feel like it allows the players to not worry about any mechanics, but just blossom on the role playing. And I encourage it. No, don't try to do this. Just do it. I'll interrupt you when something happens, and up until that point, you just do what you do, right? You're not like, I try to walk forward. No, take the story and role play it out. And it lets them slip about the rule, not worrying about the roll of the dice. They're just waiting for the story, waiting for what I'm adding to it or what they're adding to it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I still run one shots like it. And that's how I started playing, all about the role playing. Didn't play for a long time. Moved to the city. I wouldn't say a long time, but it was years. It felt like a long time. Felt like fucking eternity. Finally ran into some people, started playing again. Later on, what got me DMing was our buddy, the DM. We had been committed to this campaign years, over 2 years, to this campaign downtime. I'm talking about dialogue, story, NPC history, not just interactions. It's NPC history, and all kinds of stuff. And my buddy, the DM, he was moving like to Baltimore with his old lady, and we didn't want the story down. So I picked it up and I kept playing my character. Finished the campaign. It was awesome. It rocked. I've been DMing ever since. Haven't been able to stop. Thanks to the one shot group in the RPGW3, I finally get to play. I hadn't played in so long, man. Years I had been since I had been able to play. 7 years. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you how long I've been DMing. I believe about 7 years. So yeah, I didn't get to play a character for 7 years before I found the one shot group. I think the first character I played it was in Ian's game. And man, I didn't even know, like, that was the first time I was playing online. And I played a bard, and I wouldn't say that's a bad session, but I didn't role play my character how I would have wanted to role play her. And, I learned from that, because the next game I was like, yeah, fuck that. These dudes do it. I'm going to do me. You know, I'm not going to be shy. I'm going to role play, and I'm going to. So, but yeah, that's all the questions, and I'm out. So I got some videos coming for y'all, for all my subscribers. You guys rock. Y'all are awesome, man. Even Chronic says so. Yeah, dude, you guys rock. Rock. I don't know what the fuck rock means, but some dragon shit, I guess. Got some videos coming for y'all, so keep your eyes and ears open. Some thoughts of mine. You guys know I like to focus on the role playing part of the game, so which should be the entirety of the game. But look forward to them, and I'm out. Thanks for listening, guys.